Good morning, aspiring authors. My name is Michael, and welcome to my journey to publishing my first novel, my debut novel, How to Be Alone. Before we jump into the vlogs that I've recorded for this week, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe as well, because I will be uploading a new video at the end of every week that will describe my process of editing my novel. So if you want to be here with me for the journey, because you are an aspiring author yourself, or you're just interested to see how it's done and you want to be here for the ride, make sure you subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the week. Hold on. Get this right. Okay, I have really good news and really bad news. The good news is I got an Ariana Grande poster. On to the bad news, which is just before the really bad news. I guess this is more good news. More drawing of Tim and Lum. So, you might be like, that's kind of weird. Well, maybe, actually, I don't know if you can tell. No, that's kind of weird. Why is the lightning coming out of that computer? Why is that green? Lightning's not green. Is he stupid? I think he's stupid. Well, okay, let me break this down. Am I stupid? Yes. Why is it green? I just got this, and I just got these markers, and the culprit, blue, stopped working. Just like one day in, I did this, which is basically, it's centrifugal force. I guess I thought that I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I think it was exactly what happened. I think that was what I should have thought was going to happen, and I guess I just didn't expect that. So now, there's blue all over my room. I suspect I'm going to be finding blue for at least a couple, maybe a month. I'm just going to be seeing dots of blue somewhere, and I have no idea how it got there. Well, I know exactly how it got there, but I'll be surprised that it was there. Specifically, and then the really terrible, horrible news that really sucks. This desktop stopped working yesterday. Just completely bricked. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that fixed anytime soon. Luckily, in order to write, I still have my laptop that I have for college. But that really sucks. That computer's been with me for like many years. I don't really have a concept of time, but it's been a long time. And I guess it was sick of me playing Valorant. I'm proud of that drawing, though. That's a good drawing. Yeah, I guess that's the update. I don't know if I'm going to be writing anything today. Oh, right. Also, I went urban exploring. Didn't do any urban exploring at all. The hike was... on Google Maps, the hike said that it was going to take 12 minutes to walk there, and an hour later, it said it was going to take 8 minutes to finish the route, so... yeah, we didn't make it. Because I guess we were supposed to be A-Train, or like the Flash. That's gonna be there. It's gonna be there now. It's a funny drawing. Okay. It's still Monday. I wasn't sure that if I was going to be writing anything, but I ended up doing it, and I actually learned something pretty important wisdom. So there was this scene where at the end one of the characters ran off, and I felt like it was like super melodramatic, and so I thought that the solution was to get rid of it. I thought I had to get rid of that whole scene, but something that I don't think I could have done if I hadn't spent so much time reflecting on my book and the characters is make the scene work and make that conclusion to the scene work. I didn't get rid of running off. I changed it so that to a different character. So a different character that was already in the scene, they're the one who decides to run off, and it's for completely different reasons. And I couldn't have done it if I didn't understand my characters so intimately. I probably would have just deleted the scene. So I'm excited to do... let me fix this lighting. Okay, so I'm excited to do some more writing tomorrow. I'll be able to get to the library for that, so that's exciting. And I guess I'll see you then. Okay, so it's raining a little bit outside. But I wanted to take a video to talk about my progress. I didn't want to do that in the library. Let's go into this bridge. So I just finished editing another section of notes that I took, and this took way longer. This one was probably took like 2 days. Maybe just one really good day. I got a few more to go. I think I got 3 more. I think I could probably get another category done today because it's only 3. It's only 3 p.m. and I plan to stay here. I could stay here until 6. I think that's when it closes. So that's another 3 hours. Easily I could get another category done in 3 hours, right? We'll see. I'll let you guys know how much I get done. That's the plan. We'll check in. Yeah, last we saw each other, I said I was going to complete one more category and then I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I finished it today. I wasn't expecting to do it. I think that's the second draft completed. If that's how drafts work. I really don't know how drafts work. I'm still confused on that. I don't think it matters. It's entirely on my end. So it's whatever I want to call them. So I'm going to say that's the second draft finished. I'm going to finish the third draft. I'm gonna reread the second draft. I'm gonna take notes just like I just did. It's still developmental editing, and I'm gonna do that. And hopefully, it's not a whole lot of notes. But if it is a lot of notes, then that is still a learning experience, and it'll make me a stronger writer. I think there's something. So part of this editing this developmental phase that was integral to making a stronger story was understanding my characters. I come from the philosophy, or at least I have the philosophy, that the best stories are written by characters and not plot. Therefore, it's incredibly important that I understand my characters and I understand their motivations and why they would do things, so that I can make sure that they're consistent, because if it's not consistent, then I don't have a story, right? That's hard on the entire story overall. So it's the big picture, the small picture things, everything is important that I have it all consistent and that I know my characters. And more importantly, understanding my characters and their motivations helped me make big decisions about where the story was going to go. And what I should keep and what I should remove, and also what I should change and how I should change it. It was so fun going back and revising scenes that I used to not like, and not really knowing why I didn't like it, and now I can go back and I know exactly why I don't like it. Because this is not Lila, this isn't Phoebe, this isn't Zoe or Anna, this isn't, whatever character it's about. This scene just doesn't, that they would never say that, or, you know what I mean? And then I know exactly how to fix it, because I know exactly what they would have done instead. It's such a rewarding experience, especially because I've written... It kind of means that I wrote my characters so well, or at least well enough. Also, adding foreshadowing in this stage was very fun. That was another rewarding experience, because I loved imagining readers going back and seeing all of the breadcrumbs that I left. That totally... this twist, I can't believe I didn't see this coming. That just sounds like a book. That's just what books are like. Striking the bare minimum over here, but I'm proud of it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun to read. And I am beyond thrilled to get to share that with everybody. So, I guess you'll see me next when I've reread, or at least I've started rereading the second draft, and I'm taking notes again. Okay, I got back a little bit ago from the library, and I think I can say that I spent maybe 5 hours total there. And most of the time was spent taking notes on the chapters again. And I was really worried, I was really nervous about doing this, because I didn't want to find out that I had another 50% of the work left. But also, I think I was more worried that I wasn't going to notice anything, if that makes sense. I was worried that I was gonna know that it wasn't perfect, know that it wasn't as good as I need it to be, but not have any idea why. I not know what I need to change about it. And so now that I've done it, now that I've gone back and I've taken notes a second time, I haven't finished it yet, I've done the first 6 chapters, I've noticed that a lot more of the notes that I'm taking, they're more specific. Less of them are about overall things that I need to change, which is good. I think that I should recognize the parts where I'm winning, or I'm doing really well, but I'm still trying to keep them developmental, or at least not big picture anymore, but I'm focusing a little more on characters now that I understand my characters so much better. That first wave of editing was so beneficial to my understanding of this book and the characters that I'm writing. And so on the second pass through, I understand things that don't feel right so much better. I know what I want to add, I know what's missing, now that I know the kind of beats that I'm trying to lay out. And so I'm able to not only give more specific edit ideas, but also elaborate on them. And so my edits are much longer. The other one I had, most of them were maybe a few sentences long. I think the average length was a few sentences, but this one, every single one is almost a paragraph, because I say what the error is, and then I suggest exactly what I think I should do to change it. Choosing to do these edits in the notes, I think is a good idea, because I'm still going to be going through by category, and right now I'm looking at everything. I'm not looking at just plot inconsistencies, character inconsistencies, and all that. So when I go through by category, I'll be in the right headspace to change what I suggested so that it fits better. Other than that, I think I expect another 3 days of this. I did 6 chapters in one day. It took a while, but the first chapters were the things that needed the most fixing. I'm on track to finish this either tomorrow or on Friday, and then next week, hopefully I'll finish all of those edits, and then I have no idea where I'm going to be by then. I was sitting down with the intention to edit for about 5 hours, and I didn't write the entire time. Of course, there was a lot of times where I was distracted. Today was so much better than yesterday. Yesterday was pretty bad, and I wasn't even there as long as I was today. So I'm actually really proud of how long I stayed. 5 hours is a pretty long time. I've never had a job before. I've been in college, and I don't think I've sat down to do anything other than an essay the night before it's due. I don't think I've sat down to do anything for longer than 2 or 3 hours, right? I never really have had to. I guess I'm what you would call a gifted kid. Most things came easily, and most of the work that I did was pretty breezy for me to complete, and that still remains true, at least for now, in college. I'm sure that next semester is going to be much more difficult, but at least for now, most things that I have to do are pretty breezy. And so spending 5 hours working, editing my novel for one day was huge for me, and I guess this is just a reminder that everybody works at their own pace, and I know that a lot of people are probably really, 5 hours and you weren't even focused the entire time, are you even a real writer? Hopefully nobody's actually saying that, but pay attention to the small victories. For me, this is a lot. For someone else, 5 hours would be they failed, right? So, it's your journey, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow. So it's currently around 10:30 a.m. Jeez, my hair. And the library doesn't open until 1, and I don't want to work on it right now and then give myself an excuse to not work on it for as long, because I want to stay there just like I did yesterday. I want to stay there from 1 all the way until 7. I stayed until around 7 yesterday, so I want to do that so I get it 6 hours of work with a break in the middle. So instead of writing for the next hour and a half, I'm going, well, no, even more than that, 2 hours. I might, so there's 2 things that I want to do. I might either write a song using what I was just playing, or make a script for a video. So I was thinking that something that would help my channel and also help you guys is if I made videos where I gave tips on writing, at least the stuff that works for me. That's probably how I would frame it. It's how I write these certain aspects of storytelling. Probably see you when I'm done with either this or when I'm done with writing reading and taking notes. Hey, so it's midday. It's about 3 p.m. I think. Let me check actually. 4. It's 4 p.m. Oops. Probably one of the most fun parts about writing is when you get those when you just start fantasizing, about a movie that they make of your book. And I was doing that. I was sitting when I was in there writing earlier. I started imagining the scene that I was reading, like a movie in my head, and that's really fun. I would probably use this video to look back on if this book is ever made into a movie, because I don't know why I group it into a different category than other works of fiction, you know? I think of it like other novels are the ones that turn into movies, right? It's always someone else's novel. I just can't fathom that it would ever be mine. And it's entirely possible that it would get that kind of traction and someone would want to make a movie out of it. I wouldn't want it to end up being really crappy. I don't even know how to avoid that, honestly. It would just be so awesome to see these characters alive like that. I think a lot of authors dream of this, and I think that most of them probably don't end up getting turned into a movie. I don't really know what makes me different, you know? That's something that I always think of. I always remind myself is that if I ever have super lofty goals or whatever, or like high expectations that I know a lot of other people have and share, I'm usually like, well, what makes me different, right? All these other people, they desire and expect that their book will be turned into a film. And if I feel the same way, I gotta think, well, for all those people that felt that way but it never turned into a film, what made me different, right? If I'm still expecting it but I know that most people don't, what makes me different? I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say. It's fun. Writing is fun. I'm excited to see what comes of it. Okay, so it's the end of Thursday, and I just finished my second round of taking notes for developmental editing. I kind of expected that I was going to finish it today because the later chapters are better developed than the earlier chapters, and so when I finished most of the early chapters yesterday, I knew that today was probably going to be the last day. Actually, a little bit of a secret, I haven't finished the final chapter, but it's one of the shorter ones of the story, so I'm not too worried. I'm not super worried about that. So the next step is for me to color code, just like I did it before, break each note down into different categories so that I can go by category and edit the story overall. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm actually going to hang out with some friends, so I'm going to probably wake up pretty early and work on that in the morning. We'll see. That makes sense. I woke up pretty early today, actually, which was surprising. Yesterday I was exhausted. I was like, oh, it's probably like 1 a.m. and I checked the clock and it was almost only 11. And I was like, what? That didn't add up. That didn't make any sense. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. I think that's it for today. So, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and I guess you'll find out just how many of those notes I managed to complete. Probably not many, but, right, you know, that's how it goes. I'll see you then. Okay, so it's the end of the week. I never ended up checking in on Friday. It's mostly because I didn't do very much. I color coded my notes, and that was practically it. When I try to guess how much time something's going to take, I seem to be overshooting it by a lot every time. I think the notes that I took will probably be done in the middle of next week. Around Wednesday, by Wednesday, on Wednesday, by Thursday, I guess. So, and that's only because I am expecting to give myself the whole week to do it, and I keep surprising myself with how quickly I'm applying these edits. With all that in mind, I imagine that this book might be done in a few weeks. when I'm on month 6 of editing this story, then I can take this clip and I can put it there and be like, well, this guy was an idiot. But I don't know, I may be mistaken, but I believe that after this developmental editing, there is going to be copy editing, and then I'm going to send it to beta readers, so like my mom, and they're going to tell me stuff that I wasn't able to pick up on. You might have noticed I did not mention an editor. Part of it is because I'm a little impatient, and we'll see if that changes, right? If I grow to find that I want my book to be better, and I don't care if it takes longer, because an editor could take months. That sounds exhausting to have to wait for that. But the biggest part is that I just really don't have money for it. I can't afford an editor. It's the end of the week, and there's one thing that's really been on my mind, and that's been whether or not my novel's any good. And it's not because I'm reading it and I'm like, wait, this doesn't sound good. It's because I'm reading it and I do think it sounds good, but I'm worried that I'm, like, delusional that the novel that I wrote, I only think it's good because I don't know what I don't know yet. And I've written a lot of novels like that. Things that I can look back on now and say, yeah, that wasn't very good. And I almost hope that in the future I look back on this novel, published or not, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't very good. Because that means that I know that I've grown. Especially considering the fact that right now I think it is good. If in the future I don't think it's good, that's not just because the book got worse suddenly. Like, the book didn't change. It's that I grew, and I realized where my shortcomings were. Even if it is still a really good novel, I do hope that at some point in my future career, I can look back and say that this isn't my best book. And I think that that's why this is a little intimidating for me to really believe that this is good enough. Of course it's the best thing I've ever written, but does that mean that it's good? Because I look back on the other things that I wrote and they weren't good enough to publish. They were not even close, they weren't. But I believe that they were. I was also very young when I believed that they were, and of course far more naive than I am now, but right now I should be far more naive than I will be in a few years. Do you see how this is very confusing? Thanks again for watching. If you liked, make sure you like. The question for today is for authors who are interested in bettering their craft. My question is, what is a question or topic that you wish author YouTubers would explore? For me, something that I wish authors talked about more is ensemble casts. So like a scene where there's a lot of characters, all talking at once, all acting at once. That's something that I feel like I'm very good at writing. I have a lot of practice writing scenes with a lot of characters, but I don't feel like other author tubers usually, they don't really do tips on that. I don't feel like they explore that as much as they explore the other concepts like tropes and how to write certain archetypes of characters. So I think that would be very interesting to see more of from these creators. So anyway, leave your answer to that question in the comments down below, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.